Hello my lovelies and welcome back to another vlog. This time it's a week in my life. By now you should all know that I love traveling and trying new things, just getting out of my comfort zone and seeing what is available in my backyard and just romanticizing life. Even the smaller things are a little bit tedious, but why not? At the end of the day, life is just one giant adventure. For the Festival of Steam, my father booked us a steam train ride after dark. Since we'd already been inside the museum, we kind of just wandered around and seen what's new available. Around the area, they had these cute themed steampunk stands where you get to play some games as we wait for our train ride. But before that, we shoveled some coal. It was a cute little game. I really enjoyed it. Just to imagine what life would be like if I was on the train and shoveling coal. This is the first time I've been on a diesel and steam train ride. When we are first taken off, it's diesel, but on the way back it will be steam. The differences that I notice is that they're a lot more louder and heavier than the ones that you see in public transport because they're a little bit more quieter, but these ones, you can tell the difference because you can actually feel it because everything is shaking as everything is pulled. But overall, it's such a beautiful experience. They gave me a little card to say that I've been on the train. I thought it was really cute because it's like, oh yeah, been on a steam train ride. This reminds me of Harry Potter being transported to Hogwarts, but it also reminds me of one of my favorite books called Atlas Shrugs. Maybe because it was set in the industrial era that I find fascinating because it really was the birthplace of real change in the world, and I think trains really did capsulize it before airplanes and so on and so forth. As I was recording, I didn't realize steam trains give off this soot. I should have known because of all the movies, the operators, but I just thought it was interesting because I didn't think it would be that close. After the steam train ride, we decided to get something to eat, and obviously I had to get myself some ham and pineapple pizza. My dad got himself some dumplings before we headed home. There you have it, guys. Side quest complete. As you know by now, I've been around the place a lot, so it is now part of my non-negotiables to take myself out on a solo date. And one of the reasons why I take myself on a solo date is to really get to know myself better and really spend some time with myself, which also means I have to put the time as I would like on a date into myself, aka I treat myself with some lovely eyelash lifts, wax and dye. Beauty is pain, and don't get me wrong, I would love not to be able to do this, but at the end of the day, I want to look my best because if I look my best, I feel my best. But part of the reason to look your best is also have to go through some pain. Even though it seems quite interesting watching it from this point of view, sitting down is quite relaxing until the waxing starts happening. But that's part of girlhood, There you have it, guys. My eyelash lift, dye and brow wax. opportunity to complete one of my goals of the year, which is to see Bar 83 at the Centrepoint Tower. But before that, when I was talking to one of my friends about my solo dates, she recommended this cafe that she and her partner go to quite often. And you know me, I have to go when someone mentions a place because I'm like, ooh, new side quest. And little did I know, it had a train station inside. I didn't have enough time to see the museum because I was on a tight schedule because I had an appointment at 11 a.m. at the Ground Coffee Factory. Truth be told, I am not a coffee lover. I do not like it, but then again, I said the exact same thing about alcohol, wine, and look where I am today. Basically visited all the wineries in the Southern Highlands, and here I am, going to try out coffee. Much like how Australia is known to have the best wine in the world, same thing goes for the coffee, even though I do not like coffee. But then again, I haven't tried enough coffee to say if I like it or not, so why not go to the hotspot of it? And apparently, I didn't even know they had a coffee tasting option. That just annoyed the hell out of me. Because you know how much I love wine tasting, they have coffee tasting. I love when my life just constantly said, hey look, there's more things out there. I'm like, my compulsion of completion is annoying because I have to get it done. So instead, I got the best of both worlds, a classic espresso martini. And because I got a massive sweet tooth, I just had to try their traditional hot cakes. When I was pouring it over, one of the staff people walked past. She said like, oh my god, that's actually so pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's one of my favorite things about solo dating, because you actually speak to the staff a lot, because they're all like, oh my god, why is she alone? And I'm just like, well, I kind of enjoy my own company, and when I go out by myself, I get to eat whatever I want, and I can have an espresso martini in the morning along with a hot chocolate and some hot cakes, and no one can judge me on it. And obviously you get looks here and there, but ultimately I kind of just like my own me time, because I'm like, ooh, I know how to treat myself, and honestly, this is what life is all about. But I almost forgot to mention, this is the first time I had an espresso martini. It's bitter, but also quite refreshing, but in smooth. If I have to be honest, I'm definitely not a coffee lover, and the best thing is I wasn't driving, so I was able to have an alcohol drink in the morning. And remind you, I don't do this every weekend. I only have one day a month where I get to really treat myself and explore the world. Speaking of treating yourself, I remember this person a long time ago. She said to me, go to the city by yourself and buy a book from Barnes & Noble. Well, that's exactly what I did. It may not be no Barnes & Nobles yet, but who knows, this is my little Barnes & Noble. You know what time it is? It is time to see the Sydney Tower Eye and cross off another vision board goal. Here we go. There's no one here today. Lucky day Friday. I love going to affluent places with a view because the problems up here seem so small, but when you're looking down, and it makes you see the world in a whole new perspective, and it makes you wonder, you know, maybe my problems ain't so big after all, especially from this height. I fully expected to be alone on this little solo date, but surprisingly, when you go out by yourself, you seem to meet other solo travelers. You know when you meet someone straight away and you just click, but they have to go away soon? So when we started talking, I invited her to go to bar 83 with me, and she truly was the joy to the world. We talk about our lives, philosophy, our dreams, and why we started our little solo traveling. And even though the world is big, it's still small in a way, especially all the way up here. You know how much I love my cocktails, and what better way than to sip on cloud 9 in the sky of Sydney. One of my philosophies I was talking to her about was the mirror principles from reality trend surfing, and how whatever you put in front of it, the world will reflect it. You're not allowed to put any meaning or value to it. But she said to me, I think that's nihilism. And that got me thinking from nihilism to absurdism. She said to me, life is kind of boring if you have no meaning or value to it, because essentially you will just, pass on from this world without having any human emotions. And that's kind of boring. But having a ridiculous attitude towards things, being like, oh my god, that's not too serious, but still be able to feel it but not being attached to it, is a better way to live, because you get to feel all the emotions and let it go. And I think that is what I needed to hear. And here is my shopping haul. So I got myself a cute little tote bag from Nearly June. It seems really cute. I like the colour scheme to it. And I bought these 2 books. So ironically about me, I read a lot of non-fiction books, but when I do go to romance, I usually like the more crazier, like romance, because I find it a lot more fun and out of this world. And I also got myself a little photo album of Sydney Tower's Eye. After that, I had to have a little bath, a little me time to decompress from a whole day of running around and dating myself. Here's the tea that my sister gave me, that she thought of me all the way from Vancouver. I think it's very sweet that no matter how far she travels, she always brings me back little souvenirs to be like, oh, I think Addie would like this, and I think that's very sweet. I think that's part of the reason why I started doing solo traveling in Australia, just to build up my confidence, so when I do go overseas, because I do have plans to see the world by myself, but I'm still a little bit self-conscious to go to another country and just be around there. But at the same time, this is now the time to do it in my 20s, And I think the reason why I'm doing a lot of solo traveling is because I have a feeling once I leave Australia, I don't think I'll be coming back. So that's why I started to savor every moment I can, because once I leave, I might just stay there. I got nothing holding me back in Australia, so why not make the world my home? After all, you can't keep your head in a book. Even though I rarely do read romance because I'm always on the go, I forgot what it felt like to, get lost in a good book and really be immersed in a world, kind of like the movies. That's why I love going to movies so much, because I get to switch off from the rest of the world, and that's like that in a good book. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe if you like these types of videos. Until next time, have a lovely day.